I'm Pam and I work at the Lodi Library, and today I'm going to do a demonstration on how to make fire starters. Especially when we have all this rainy weather and you go camping, you need something to get your fires started. So before we make the fire starters, we have to gather our materials. I use wax paper to cover my surface, but you could use newspaper or some other covering. I typically use paraffin wax, but you can use old candles. You don't want to break them. Stick them in your container. You can use old crayons. Crayons work also. They are wax covered. So any of these materials are good for melting. You need a cardboard egg carton to make your fire starter. And with your cardboard egg carton, please do not use the styrofoam ones. The styrofoam egg cartons will melt. Okay. I put sawdust, and I get that from the local lumber yard. So I use sawdust to make my fire starters. You can also make fire starters just using sticks, dried sticks outside. You can also use dryer lint. So I have a list of materials over here in case you want to make a list. And let's get started. Okay. The first thing I did was get a pan, and I have an old candle jar because it's thick. You could also use a metal coffee can or something to make a double boiler. I have water in my pan, it's boiling, and it's melting my wax. So the paraffin wax comes in this kind of a container and comes in little bars. You just drop them in and they melt. Okay. It does take a little while for your wax to melt, so don't rush it, don't boil real super hard, just boil real gently. Okay. I then rip off, while I'm waiting, I rip off all the extra parts of the egg carton so that I'm just left with this one. And I actually put it back in the lid, and that's just for my own benefit to avoid mess. Okay. At this point, I take sawdust and I fill my egg carton with sawdust. I usually fill it not quite overflowing because remember, you're going to pour wax into this. And I don't want wax to go all over the place. And I'm looking, because my candle holder is so thick, I'm able to pick it up with my hands, but that may not be the case for everyone. If you do not have something, like when I use a coffee can, I must use a pot holder to pick it up because the can gets so hot. When I started using this old candle holder, this worked much better, and I'm able to actually pick it up because the glass does not get hot because it's made for candles. Okay, as you can see, my wax is melted. And it's probably been melting for a good 20 minutes. So my wax is melted, and I'm going to go ahead and pour it into my sawdust egg carton. And you don't have to be super careful with if it goes into other parts of the egg carton. That's just fine. If you think that it isn't full enough, you can add more sawdust in here. I have a couple little spots that look like they could use more sawdust, so I just add a little bit more. This isn't a precise thing. You can use your own judgment. like a little bit more wax, so I'm going to put this in. You do not need to remove the wick of your candle. If you have wicks still in it, that's fine. It really just doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. And I'm looking to see, as you can see, the bottom of my carton has wax. That's okay. Parts that don't have wax, that's all right also. Okay. Now, while I'm waiting for this to set a little bit, I'm going to show you what happens if you stick a stick in here. This is just a stick I pulled out of the woods that are around Lodi Library. So I'm going to stick it right in there. I have my tongs because now it's way down in and I do not want to get wax on my hand. Okay. So I am coating my stick with wax, with hot wax. And it's melting so fast in there because I've used most of the wax over in my egg carton. Okay, so I have one end of it coated. I'm going to do the other end. For this part, I may have liked my coffee can a little bit better because the coffee can has a wider edge. It's really difficult now, though, to find the old metal coffee cans. Most of them are made of plastic. But I can see. Alright. Okay, so what's the purpose of having a stick with wax on it? Well, if you go camping and it's pouring down rain, as it has been this whole last week, then when you get there, you don't have to worry about trying to find dry wood to get your campfire started, or keeping it dry because it's coated in wax, so it's already dry inside, so that helps it. You can also use dryer lint, and you can dunk the dryer lint into the wax also. And remember I said you can use old candles. If you use old candles, you know, when you get to the very bottom, there's about this much wax left that usually the candle won't burn anymore. You can just keep dumping old wax from candles into a candle holder until you get enough to make some fire starters. Your fire will actually smell really good as you burn the fire starters made with scented candles. Okay, so, this is set pretty well. I can see that there's still some wax and the sawdust is still absorbing into there. Okay, and I will show you what the finished ones look like because I made one up last evening. So here's a finished one. And as you can see, I added more wax on this end. There's more sawdust on this end. Either way is fine, it doesn't matter. And then when you want to use them, break them apart, and you have individual fire starters. Now you can see I have some cardboard of my egg carton that doesn't have wax on it. That's a good thing. I can then use a match and light that part and get the fire started. So if you have one egg carton, you then have 12 fire starters. Okay? So good luck with your fire starting, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to call me at Lodi Library. Have a nice day.